What's up? What's up? What's up, you guys? Come on in. We are here to talk about the Real Housewives of Miami, season 7, episode 5. Listen, let me tell y'all something. It's the gaslight of it all for me. It is the gaslight of it all for me. I'm telling you now. Listen. Gertie quit. Gertie quit. Nobody on that show like you. Nobody on that show has your back. Nobody on that show is trying to see things from your point of view. Quit. Go do a podcast with Dr. Nicole. That's what everybody else do. That's what all the other housewives do when they leave the show. Go do a podcast because I'm sick of it. I put in my title, the gaslight of it all, because that's all this episode was. I'm going to get into it. Some of the stuff we going, but I had to just get that off my chest. Gertie quit. So we start this episode off with a dumb storyline with Alexia, who allegedly met this life coach on Instagram named Daniel. Now, they clearly flew Daniel in. They clearly flew Daniel in to film this because the first thing out her mouth was, how are you liking Miami? How are you enjoying Miami? And it's clear that y'all never met each other before. So you start having this conversation with him about your relationship with Todd. And then you talk about the group. And then somehow or another, I don't even know how we got there. Somehow or another, you decided you're going to do an event for the girls. Now, I'm going to tell you when I tuned out of this conversation, and here's the reason why I don't even know what the hell they talked about, and I have no idea what her event is about or what they're supposed to be doing. We'll get to that at the end of this review. But let me tell you something. I tuned out when you told him you wanted to have a party that was the theme like the Romans and the Greeks since they started it all. First of all, Rome and Greece are two different countries. So how you gonna have a Roman and a Greek themed party when they are two different countries? That's number one. Number two, I need you to define they started it all. They started what? Because I know you didn't mean civilization. What did they start, Alexia? Narcissism? Is that what they started? They started the toga? Is that what we talking about? Oh, you want everybody to come dressed up like a toga party. Okay. Because if that's what you're talking about, then okay. But when you were like, because they started it all, I was like, I need some context. What did they start? Because they damn sure didn't start civilization. Now, I'm sorry. Then we head over here to Lisa, who's talking to Jody. And basically, they're really just having the same conversation. They're talking about Larsa, how Larsa was a liar. And she doesn't understand why, Larsa is telling the girls and why Larsa is lying about what happened in Milan and how everybody's just jealous of her. They're just jealous. It's just jealous. And I'm not saying that I believe what Larsa is saying because we know Larsa is a liar. But when Lisa could not explain her divorce decree and she had to ask Jody to explain it when she was in her confessional trying to explain, what Ray J just do, Danielle, send it to me, please. I don't know what you're talking about. Send it to my Instagram, please, because I don't know what you're talking about, girl. But when you were talking about the house and what the status of the house was, and you literally could not explain your divorce, not even your divorce decree, because are y'all divorced yet? I don't even know if the divorce is final. But when you couldn't even explain why Lenny was building you a house and what the status was and why it was taking so long and what he's obligated to do versus what he's not obligated to do, I was like, Larsa might have a point in her saying that Jody is a little too involved in Lisa's life. But I feel like that's what Lisa wants. Lisa wants to be taken care of. Like, sometimes we just got to let people be what it is. Lisa wants to be taken care of. Sometimes we just gotta let people sit in it. Baby, that's what she wants. She wants to be taken care of. Let her sit in it. Let her sit in it, y'all. That's what she wants. So then we get to I'm sick of Stephanie already. I'm sick of her. I am sick of Stephanie already. Let me tell you why. Stephanie is trying too hard. And I don't care what nobody say. I know some people are like, oh, she's doing so well and blah, 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 and da, 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 da. Listen, Stephanie is trying too hard. First of all of these forced scenes that you had to make us sit through this episode, like I said, it's giving me very Mia walking into the joint chiropractic and don't nobody know who you are. First of all, you walk into this venue or this restaurant that I guess is owned by your company. That's cute and everything. All you had to do was go in there and be like, hey, girl, me and my friends are going to sit down here and have lunch. Give us the best table. We're going to take a little bit of everything off the menu. I want them to try the menu or whatever. Y'all know what it is. If you own the place, you know you ain't about to be charged. Like, it is what it is. But you walking in there, you know, with your Birkin and talking to the people like you really doing a site visit or something. Like, you're doing too much. You are doing too much. It was whatever. And the more and more I look at her, and I know Chuck wasn't feeling it the other day, but I cannot unsee that she looks like the lady from Will and Grace. Like all I need her to do is talk in that high-pitched voice. That's it. I just need her to give me that high-pitched voice because I cannot unsee it now. Whoever put that in my chat last week, damn you, because I cannot unsee it now. So anyway, Larsa and Kiki are meeting her for lunch. And of course, they are talking about, they talk about the brunch. They talk about, the baby shower. Right. They're talking about Kiki and her dad. Listen, I'm going to get to that in a few minutes when we get with Kiki and her son or whatever. They talk about the brunch and Stephanie was like, yeah, I mean, how Lisa talking about she wants to be friends with me because I have a private jet. And oh my gosh, that was so rude. And, you know, which I think it is. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of people, listen, we all want a rich friend. Well, I shouldn't say we all, but a lot of us would love a rich friend. Now, I'm not seeking somebody out to be their friend because they are rich, but being rich is a nice caveat. Being rich is a nice caveat. Then, of course, they got to talking about was it this conversation? Look, that they were talking about the Gertie. Did they talk about Gertie in this conversation? Stephanie got on my nerves on Watch What Happens Live because I'm all over the place with this review, y'all. Because honestly, I ain't care about maybe about 60% of this episode. I really didn't care about. Yeah, she did overstep with Alexia. I do feel like she overstepped with Alexia. I don't know. But my thing is, she was on Watch What Happens Live talking about Gertie be holding grudges too long and why can't Gertie just get over it and why is Gertie holding on. But in this episode, we saw some footage that they didn't show us last week as it relates to that dinner with Julia through that drink in Gertie's face. And it did seem like everybody was ganging up on Gertie. I'm going to get to that in a minute because I think that was pretty much all I got out of this scene. Hey, Lock Queen, I'm glad you got your notification, boo. So the hurricane is coming. Hurricane Milton is coming, and it ended up being a dud. So we have to go through all of them preparing for the hurricane and yada, 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 yada. I love how Marisol continues to film in this damn pool house like that's where she really lives. I love it. I love that she invites them camera crew. That she invites that camera crew to come into that damn pool house. Like, that is really where she lives. And they film whole scenes. She did a whole scene in that, like, they were getting ready for the hurricane. You know good and damn well they wasn't about to sit in that pool house during the hurricane. They was going to go to that main house. But I'm not mad at Marisol for not having the cameras in her main house. I ain't mad at her, but it's just funny to me. It is hilarious that that's just like with Kyle. It is hilarious to me, like, they be filming in that house like that is their main house. Baby, that is not Kyle's main house on Beverly Hills, okay? But I'm not mad about it. Oh, Lord, smokes, no. Phaedra can't come to Miami. We don't want her. We don't want her. We don't want her. Notice how they had footage of everybody getting ready for the hurricane except for Alexia. And I was like, oh, was Alexia with Todd and couldn't film? Because you notice Todd is not on the show. We ain't seen no parts of Todd. And I was like, oh, did Alexia spend the hurricane with Todd? And that's why we didn't get no footage of her getting ready for the hurricane because she couldn't film. Anyway, Alexia goes to lunch with Gertie. And here's where the gaslighting begins. They talking about what happened with Julia. And Gertie is like, look, I feel some kind of way about how that whole thing went down. Like, I felt very disrespected. I was embarrassed. Like, you know, and I feel like she's really putting a lot on me that's not there. So then they started showing the flashbacks, and they're showing clips where Larsa and Alexia and Marisol are all talking to Gertie about how extra she is and how over the top she is and how she's doing too much. And Gertie was like, we all do too much. Alexia, you do too much. Larsa, you do too much. Like, we all do too much. We all do too much. Like, why am I being singled out when all of us do that sometimes? All of us do a little too much on the other side. So why am I being singled out? I said, here we go with this bullshit, because that goes back to what Kiki, remember when Kiki had the conversation, it was like, well, the girls think that you're a little extra. The girls think you do a little too much. So clearly they have had conversations about Gertie when Gertie is not around. So then Gertie brought up the fact that she rang the bell for the New York Stock Exchange for the breast cancer association, the United, whatever the actual I don't want to disrespect the organization, but I can't remember the name of it, but the breast cancer association, and she was saying how everybody, she was like, I understand everybody was congratulating Julia in the group chat as far as the baby shower and stuff. Like, I get that. But when I put in the group chat that I was ringing the bell for the New York Stock Exchange, it was crickets. Nobody said anything. Nobody asked to come with me. Nobody congratulated me. It was just nothing. And here go Alexia's ass. And see, Alexia does this bullshit. She's very dismissive. When you catch her in something, she's very dismissive. She was like, oh, well, you should have just told me. I mean, I didn't see all of that. I don't know. I mean, I just be scrolling past stuff sometimes. Girl, what? All you had to say was, my bad. I did see it. You're right. We could have been more supportive in that moment. Why do I have to put something in a group chat and then call you and tell you that I put it in the group chat? Now, listen, we are all in group chats. And I'm going to be honest. There are some group chats that I'm in and I do miss shit. I ain't going to tell you no lies. I do miss stuff in the group chat sometimes. But when I miss something in the group chat and somebody comes back to me and says, it was in the group chat, and I be like, damn, my bad, I missed it. That's all you have to say, y'all. Why can't we just do that? Why can't we just say, my bad? I scrolled right past it. I didn't see it. But the point is, y'all did see it. Y'all just didn't give a fuck. Y'all know what Dr. Nicole would have done? Dr. Nicole would have flew Gertie to New York in her private jet. And her boyfriend would have probably flew them there in his jet or his plane. I don't think it's called a jet. It's a plane. And would have went with her. That's what a friend would have done. At the very least, Dr. Nicole would have sent some flowers to her hotel room and congratulated her. See, That's the kind of shit that a friend does. So when Gertie was trying to give you an example of how she doesn't feel supported, now you gaslighting her and you're trying to make her feel like it's not what she's saying it is. It's exactly what she's saying it is. And now that Dr. Nicole is gone and Kiki done flipped to the other side, you don't have any friends. That's why I started my review off by saying Gertie quit. Because you don't have any friends on this cast. None of these women have your back, Gertie. None of them. And I know it's Housewives and they do that catty stuff, but usually on Housewives, you got at least one person. You have at least one person that you know has your back. At least one. Gertie, not only do these women not have your back, they are trying to gaslight you into believing that you are wrong. Exactly. They don't F with Gertie. Very passive aggressive. Very much so. Gaslighting. Very much so. So then, she lets Gertie know she's having this event, yada, yada, yada. Like I said, that event is some bullshit. Then we have Kiki taking her son and his friend out to putt-putt with Larsa. Gertie. I mean, not Gertie. Kiki. Kiki girl. Kiki. Of all the women on that cast, Larsa is who you choose to bring your 18-year-old son around. Tall, black. I just don't know if Larsa's the one I would have chosen to film this scene with. I would have called Gertie. I'd have called Alexia. Hell, I'd have called Marisol. I don't trust Larsa around my child. I don't trust Larsa around my child. And I'm serious. Exactly. Pink Petals. So anyway, we have this moment where, and it is nice to see her son. It is nice to see her son, but clearly production told Kiki she had to bring it because Kiki done pulled out everything this season. We done met her mama, her daddy that she don't even speak to. We done met her daughter and her son. Clearly production pulled Kiki aside and said, girl, you got to give us more. If you want to keep your job, you got to give us more. And Kiki was like, okay, cool. You want it? You got it. Here. You want it? Boom. Here it is. Because clearly, Kiki, you were told to step it up. Here's my issue, though. And I said this last week. Kiki, to be honest, Larsa actually gave you some good advice. As much as I hate to admit it, Larsa actually gave you some good advice. Larsa said, don't call your dad and tell your dad you have to call your grandson. It's his birthday. You need to call him. Call him and just in casual conversation say, yeah, I forget her son's name. I got him, a jacket for his birthday. I got him this jacket that he's been really wanting. He's been looking for. I got it for his birthday. That just throw it in there in casual conversation and say, we're going out to lunch tomorrow. If you want to talk to him, it'll probably be good to call around 1:00. We're going to lunch. And I mean, Larsa was like, don't just make it seem like a demand. And damn it, if Kiki didn't pick up the phone and do the exact opposite of what Larsa told her to do. You need to call him tomorrow. Tomorrow is his birthday. You need to call him. That is not what Larsa said. You're not that far behind, Tawana. You're only about maybe, I don't even think you're a whole minute behind. You good, boo. Kiki is fake, in my opinion. I don't like the way Kiki flipped on Gertie last week. I definitely don't like that. But I think she's trying to save her job, child. She need this little paycheck. So then we had to sit through another insufferable scene of Stephanie and her husband visiting this property. Listen. Yeah, I hate when they insult my intelligence. I hate it. Like, I ain't the smartest person in the world, but I do feel like I have a little bit of intelligence and certainly some common sense. Here is what pisses me off. You mean to tell me that this company has over 37,000, you said 1,000 rental units through all of y'all properties y'all own, apartment buildings and condos and houses. You have commercial real estate. You own venues and you have all of this property. And you're the vice president or you're the president. And you mean to tell me you have time on a regular basis to visit those properties and inspect every vacant property before you put it on the market? Because she said, I could even see her. She was like, well, we're just stopping. This is a newer building. We have a couple apartments that are staged. I just want to just check them out. No. You were like, I want to see every unit that's vacant and make sure it's up to par. Who does that? Nobody does that. That is literally a job of somebody. Like, that's like a mid-level, that's a property manager responsibility. And you hire people to manage the property, and that is their job to make sure that the property is acceptable and ready to be shown and ready to be seen. And then you go into the first property and say, give me 5 minutes to do my thing. Give me 5 minutes to do my thing. And yes, we are going to go to every property. We're going to go to every property. No president, CEO of a company this large that you claim is so big, nobody's doing that. So this is clearly a staged scene. Nobody's doing that. So, like, stop insulting my fucking intelligence. Then the rescue dog. I don't care about the rescue dog. I mean, I could see that they found 2 of the dogs and they're housing the dog until they can find a house for the dog. I'm sure during a hurricane, there are abandoned animals all the time. Her husband said he put it in one of the empty apartments. They actually put it in a real apartment. I'm going to tell you what bothered me more. It didn't bother me that the dogs soiled up the apartment, because clearly they put those dogs in there and nobody took the dogs out for a walk. They just forgot the dogs were in there, okay? Because that's why dogs, especially if those dogs are trained, if those dogs were house trained, they were sitting in there for a very, very, very long time for them to soil in multiple places. Dogs that are house trained, they hold on to it for as long as they can because they're trained to do that. And they know they'll get in trouble if they don't. So those dogs have been in there for a minute, okay? What bothered me more about that scene is when they showed the maid spraying the Lysol on the bed sheet. Girl, if you don't wash that shit, I'm not even saying you got to throw it away, because, I mean, dogs and cats pee on stuff all the time and you just wash that shit. If you don't wash that shit, why are we watching the maid with a spray bottle like she gonna get that stain out and leave it on the bed? If you don't strip that bed and wash that shit, that bothered me more than anything else. That lady was spraying it like she was gonna spray it and leave it there. Then she's got a woe is me story with her sister. Listen, I want to hear the sister side of the story, because people always tell their side of the story. Like, I got rich, I had to come up and I tried to help my family. I bought them Range Rovers. I bought them a Mini Cooper. I gave them a job and the job didn't work out. and now they're not speaking to me. I need to hear the sister side of the story. If y'all see the sisters go down to the blogs or down to the TikTok telling their side of the story, I want to hear their side of the story. Y'all tell me what the blogs say. Because it's always, I tried to help my family. I gave them a job. I did this. I did that. Then you be hearing the sister side of the story. You'll be like, Yeah, Taurus Moon. Her aesthetic is very old. I said last week, she reminds me of like a fake Jackie Kennedy Onassis with them Chanel suits circa 1966. But yeah, again, I get it, because clearly you do work for the company, because they showed pictures of you at groundbreaking ceremonies, and you clearly, it's not like a Mia thing where you just showed up one day. You clearly do work there. And it probably is a little bit more than a vanity position. Like, I feel like you do probably do something, but you ain't doing all of that, because who's doing that? Nobody has time to do that. I don't care if you only have one apartment building that has 800 units. Don't nobody have time to inspect every unit every time it's vacant. Nobody does that. You don't even have time to check the staging apartments when you have those type. The amount of property that y'all have, you don't even have time to check the staging. You hire people to do that. Like, that is taking micromanaging to a whole nother level. And it's bullshit. As far as I'm concerned, it's bullshit. So anyway, I want to hear the sister side of the story. Before I get caught up in her, woe is me, I tried to do this for my family and I tried to do that for my family. Before I get caught up in that whole woe is me of it all, I want to hear what the sisters have to say. Okay. A kennel trained dog would not need to go unless they are stressed or sick. I keep dogs on Rover app. I have 3 per week minimum. Oh, really? Okay. But that's what I'm saying. You could, if those dogs were house trained, for them to have soiled that much, and maybe they were stressed out because they were in a new environment, the storm did come through. Maybe they were stressed out, but neither here nor there. Because I think those dogs were real. Like, I think those might really have been rescue dogs. But clearly, and see, this is how people be giving themselves away. I'm going to tell you something else about that scene. And I try not to nitpick, but since we're talking about it, let's talk about it. I do think that those dogs probably came from somewhere, but let me tell you what I know, or what I believe I know. And you can correct me, Smokes, and anybody else that has a dog, you could correct me. You could correct me. When you take your dog to the groomer, PetSmart, a private groomer, whatever, you know how they put those little bandanas on the dogs? Y'all seen that? You say, y'all know what I'm talking about? When the dog goes to the groomer and they get the little cute bandana on them. They smell good and they have like the little bandana. Y'all know what I'm talking about? I'm waiting to see somebody in the chat know what I'm talking about. So you see the Smokes, you know what I'm talking about? Why both of them dogs had them bandanas around their neck? So they had been somewhere. Both of those dogs had those little, they had matching bandanas. They had been somewhere. They had been down to the PetSmart. They had been somewhere. Anyway, neither here nor there. The next scene was Julia and Gertie. Listen, if Alexia was gaslighting, baby, here comes Julia with her ass. Let me tell y'all something. You don't get to do me wrong and then tell me how and when I'm supposed to get over it. If Gertie want to hold that grudge for the next 3 years, Gertie has every right to hold that grudge for the next 3 years, because it wasn't just about you throwing the water in her face. It was about the lies that you were trying to make it seem like she's done something to you and she's treated you so horrible and she's been so disrespectful. It's the fact that you tried to say we weren't really friends. All of that, and then the last straw was the water in her face. So for you to be like, well, Gertie, you said things to hurt me too. And this is what I love about Gertie. Gertie said, I did. You said something that hurt me, so I said something that hurt you back. Fair exchange ain't never been no robbery. She was like, Well, you told everybody that I went and I had a facelift while Martina was having chemo. I didn't lie. Gertie was like, I didn't lie. You did. Well, but you tried to make it seem like I was a bad wife. She was like, I didn't say you was a bad wife. I just said you went and had a facelift while your wife was having chemo. Well, we were friends. I mean, you betrayed my trust. Oh, but wait a minute. You said we weren't friends, though. You said we weren't friends. So now we were friends and you trusted me with something that private, but we wasn't really friends. See how that, and that's what Gertie was trying to tell her. We had to have been friends for you to trust me enough to tell me something that you hadn't told everybody else. But now you're saying we're not friends. So you're right. I threw it out there. Well, if we're not friends, how did I know A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Baby, I loved how Julia apologized and Gertie was like, because Julia was waiting for Gertie to apologize. Baby, Julia said, you don't feel bad about anything you did? Gertie was like, I mean, I just gave you what you gave me. I mean, I just gave you back what you threw at me. I just threw it back at you. And then she finally did say, I didn't have to say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll apologize, for throwing that out there. But understand, I did it because and she was like, I was trying to hurt you. Like, it was intentional. I intentionally said those things because I did want to hurt you because you had hurt me. See, I ain't mad when a person own their shit. Gertie was like, that's exactly what I was trying to do. And then we find out that on that same night that whole conversation happened, that Larsa and Alexia and Marisol were also trying to tell Gertie, well, you do too much. You're over the top. Sometimes you take things too far. You you overtalk people. You do this and you do that. So that was a whole night of people coming at Gertie. See, they trying to break it up so we don't realize that it all happened on one night. All of that happened the same night. So y'all were all coming at Gertie on the same night at the same time. And the culmination of that night was Julia throwing the water in Gertie's face. And then Kiki had the nerve to sit in her confessional and say, I don't know why she's still here. I wouldn't stay here. Somebody threw a drink in my face. I wouldn't stay. Why the fuck wouldn't you? Hey, Pat. I'm on live. I'm talking about the Real Housewives of Miami, child. Oh, okay. Look at Pat. Pat always ready to fight, y'all. Y'all heard her talking about who we fighting. She always ready to fight somebody. Nobody threw a drink. Hey, how you doing, sweetie? I'm good. Nah, child. Look, you heard her. Oh, I thought somebody threw a drink in your face. She was ready to ride. Because if I had said a name, she'd have been like, where they at? See? And see, but that's how your friends are supposed to be about you. If me and Pat had been somewhere and I had been arguing with somebody and that lady threw a drink in my face, I would have been holding Pat back. I would have ended up having to hold Pat back. And I'm the one that got the drink in my face. But for Kiki to be like, trying to pull her out of there like she did something wrong. See, that's the shit I don't like. Don't play in my face. Don't gaslight me like I'm not wrong. Like I don't have a right to feel the way I feel. Like that person didn't just violate me. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't play in my face. Julia felt like she had community and support in her behavior. Exactly, because that's what they showed it. They showed that they were defending Gertie. So anyway, defending Julia. So basically they walked away and Gertie was like, we're going to take baby steps, child. We're just going to take baby steps. So then we see all the ladies get dressed up for this Greek goddess. I don't know what the fuck this is supposed to be. A narcissist event. I don't even know what this event is supposed to be. 2021 was. That chicken in there from 2020. Oh, what? Yeah, we got to clean out this freezer. We got stuff in it. Child, we got stuff that's been in that freezer for years. We cleaning out the freezer today. But, so the ladies are getting ready for this event. So, of course, they're all meeting up to get on the sprinter, and they end up waiting on Lisa. And they end up waiting on Lisa for 2 hours. Oh, I already told y'all I don't cook. I don't think that was was that a secret that I don't cook, Pat?
They might not
know. You say they might not know, but I don't think it wasn't no secret over here, child. It wasn't no secret over here, child. Not pandemic food. Said pandemic food.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they showed a scene where Lisa showed up late to the reunion to the point where Andy was irritated. And Lisa shows up like, hey guys, it's never an apology. It's never, I'm sorry, I'm late. It's never anything. You come in there. So first of all, and this is why you know that this is for the show. Because nobody is waiting on anybody for 2 hours. I don't give a fuck who you are. I'm not waiting on nobody for 2 hours. I'm not waiting on nobody for 2 hours. So that's how you know they had to wait on Lisa, and it was part of the show. Because who's waiting for 2 hours in a van, in a fucking Sprinter van, dressed up like a Greek goddess? Who's doing that? Now, here's what pissed me off, though. Stephanie lit into Lisa. Now, on this one, I'm with you, Stephanie. Baby, because Lisa didn't even walk on there with no apology. She walked on there like she was 10 minutes late instead of 2 hours late. Hey, y'all, how y'all doing? Hey, my ass, bitch, where you been? No apologies. No, I'm sorry, y'all been waiting on me. No, none of that. You just show up like la 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 la. So Stephanie was absolutely within her rights, because here's what Stephanie was doing. Stephanie was setting the tone and letting it be known how she rolled. Like, but here's what pissed me off about that whole scene. Why were the rest of them sitting back going, yes, finally, somebody saying something. Yes, Stephanie, get her, Stephanie. Why the fuck y'all ain't saying nothing? Why haven't y'all put y'all foot down? Why haven't y'all said, I'm not doing it? See, and I hate to break the fourth wall, but I'm going to have to break the fourth wall for a minute. That was one of the complaints that the ladies on Married to Medicine had about Quad. That was one of the issues that production had about Quad. That was part of the reason why Quad has gone through what she's gone through on this show. Because production and the other ladies got tired of feeling like Quad was disrespecting their time. You got people like, and people you may or may not like Jackie, but she is a doctor. Simone, Heavenly, these are women who are doctors, and a lot of times they are on call, or they have to rearrange things when they're filming so that they can keep their schedule open to film. And you got this woman Quad over here who doesn't have the type of work schedule that we have, and she show up when she fucking feel like showing up. That's part of the reason why the ladies have such an issue that they have with Quad. That's part of the reason. And for Lisa to be doing it all these years and none of y'all act like it's a problem. See, that's my problem. Y'all sat there and let her ass do it. And then Lisa talking about how dare you talk to me like that? Bitch, how dare you have me sitting in this Sprinter van for 2 hours? I'll talk to you however the fuck I need to talk to you. I've been sitting for 2 hours waiting on you and I can't leave. I'm going to talk to you however I need to talk to you. So that was pretty much the episode, child. That was it. That was all. I'm not really sure when I'll be back this afternoon. Not sure when. We're gonna do a tribe meeting, and then we may do a quick recap of Big Brother. Don't forget the Big Brother Fantasy League starts tonight. If you have not already set up your team, please do so before 8:00 Eastern Standard Time, or you will not get any points for this week. You can still play after this week, but you won't get any points for this week. If you play fantasy football, you know what that is. If you forget to set your lineup, you just stuck with whatever's there, and you lose the points. Also, if you don't have the link, it is on my community wall. Shut up, Cajun. All right, but I will be back later on today. We're going to do a tribe meeting, child. And somebody's supposed to be letting me know. So they said Ray J acted up again, child. So I'm going to go see if I can find out what's going on with Ray J, honey. All right. Well, about that, I'm going to talk to y'all later. Mwah. Peace.